a very simple concept. And in economy, every concept is related with certain words or certain keywords. And if you know those keywords, it will be very easy for you to answer those questions related from that topic. Okay. Now, when we start with this topic called inflation, you need to understand the correct exact meaning of it. Now, once you know the meaning, then any question and their related concepts, then any question related with inflation you can easily answer. Now, when it comes to inflation, have you heard about this term, inflation? Yes, because I already posted. Now, before that, yes, it's there. Okay. Now, the question is in relation to inflation, are you being affected by inflation? Are you being affected by this phenomena called inflation? We'll see it how it get affected. Now, what is inflation? It's nothing but, this word is very important, persistent increase in the general price level. This word is very, very important. What is it? Persistent or continuous. You can't say that, see, people have a little bit confusion regarding this concept, inflation. Normally we say that, okay, inflation means increase in price level, increase in price level, increase in price level. No, it's not increase in price level, it is persistent, or another name for persistent is continuous increase in the general price level of goods and services. Then we call this phenomena as inflation. It has to be persistent, be very clear with it. Now think about it, now how it will affect you. Now how this inflation, when there is persistent increase in the general price level, how it affects you? In the sense that, suppose, who will be most affected, the rich or the poor? I will tell you how it is. Now think about a family, who are having an earning of 10,000 rupees. Now it's a fixed income family. Now they are living with 10,000, they are okay with it. Now suddenly what happened? After a certain period of time, maybe in a month, sudden 1 month, what happened? General prices of especially vegetables, fruits, then basic items like milk, all the protein related items like milk, suddenly their price have increased. Now what will happen to this family who are consuming these items? They have to cope with the same amount. So what happened? The essential items which they used to have, which they used to spend, see, imagine that this family is spending out of the 10,000, they are spending 5,000 for food, including all these items. Now what happened with those items? It has suddenly increased. Now earlier they used to live with 5,000 for a month, now they have to live with 6,000 or 7,000. And are they able to manage it? They have to change their lifestyle. They have to reduce the consumption, or they have to go for much cheaper products. So this is how, but for the rich man who are having income of a lakh and above, is not that much affected by this phenomena. But for a common man or for the poor people, it's a very big issue. And that's the reason why for a country like India, where as per the estimate itself, it says that 1/3 of the population is poor. And think about the number, it's very big, it's in crores, it's a very high number. Okay, where almost 1/3 of the population is poor, when we say when they are poor, they can't have their own, means for a per day living, the income is not sufficient for them. So in such a scenario, whenever the government, or especially the central government, already we discussed, one of the major objective of central bank is to control inflation. Reason is simple, because this affects the poor the most, and especially for a country like India, we can't afford it, those things to happen, especially for the common man. So try to understand how inflation affects the poor. Okay, now regarding inflation, when we discuss with inflation, there are related concepts. Along with inflation, there are related concepts. Now once you know all the related concepts and their difference if a question comes, it is very easy for you to answer it. The related concepts are in relation to inflation is, one is along with inflation is, one we discussed. What is inflation? Simple meaning, persistent increase in the price level, persistent increase in the price level. Second is deflation. Deflation. Have you heard about this term, deflation? Now what is the relation between inflation and deflation? So again, simple. Deflation is also very simple. It's opposite to inflation. What is deflation? Deflation is opposite to what you have studied about inflation? It's exactly opposite. So instead of persistent increase, it is persistent. Here it is persistent increase. In deflation it is persistent decrease in the general price level. So whenever there is a phenomena like persistent decrease in the general price level, we call that economy is in deflationary mood. It's in deflation. Now very rarely we see this in India, very rarely we see, but we have seen in certain areas. We'll discuss that. Now try to understand that deflation is now seen mainly among countries like Japan, especially developed like some Western European countries. There is a general deflationary trend over there. So we'll discuss that. Now what is deflation? It is persistent decrease in the general price level. Now from your examination point of view, the most key word in deflation is, key thing about in deflation is, the growth rate will be in deflation, it will be in negative territory. In deflation, it will be in negative territory. So it will go to negative territory, where in deflation. So inflation and deflation only concept is almost same, but opposite. Inflation it is persistent increase in the general price level. Deflation it is persistent decrease in the general price level. Okay. Now third is a concept what is called as disinflation. Now students get confusion with these concept of deflation and disinflation. Deflation, disinflation, deflation, disinflation. Now when the inflation rate is have come down, so actually if there is decrease in the inflation rate, if there is decrease in the price level, see here comes the keyword. Here in this, so compared to the earlier month, if the inflation is coming down, but not going to negative territory, see it is going, see this inflation is inflation coming down. So inflation coming down means price level coming down, or it's a lower level of prices. But what's the difference between deflation and disinflation? In disinflation, the trend goes means disinflation. In disinflation, it will be in negative territory, but in disinflation, it is lower down. But again, it is in disinflation. Even though the price level have come down, but it's still in disinflation. The inflation rate will be in the positive territory. So both are we say disinflation and deflation. In one way it is decrease in the general price level, but in deflation it is persistent decrease. Since the decrease in price level is persistent, what will happen after a certain period of time? It will go to the negative territory. But in disinflation, price will come down, but it will not go to the negative. From the examination point, this has to be very clear. Now we will learn it. It's very simple. We can learn it with a sine wave. I'll explain to you with this concept. Then another concept is what is called as reflation. Reflation. Reflation, as the term suggests, when the prices go down to a very low level, that is also, see, both the extreme are not good for the economy. It should be in the middle. We can't have a very high inflation, we can't have very high deflation. Both are not good for the economy. So during that time, when the general price level is at a very low level or at the negative level, then what the government will do? Government will try to increase, deliberate, they will try to increase, deliberately increase the price level. So that is what is happening in Japan. You know what they have done in Japan? They follow a policy, interest rate policy, what is called as zero or negative interest rate policy. In Japan, they follow a negative interest rate policy. What does it mean by negative interest rate policy? Now, in our case, in India, if we deposit money in the bank, we will get interest. At least if we are depositing in state in any SB account, minimum we will get 4% interest. Minimum it is there. But if you go to new generation bank, they are giving 5% or 6%, there are there, but minimum 4% are there. But if you deposit money in Japan, what does it mean negative interest rate? The bank will cut the money from you. See, if the interest rate is positive, you will earn. If anything it is negative, the bank will cut. So what is the purpose of Japan following a negative interest rate policy? Japan economy or Japanese bank, that is the central bank of Japan, don't want anyone to deposit your money in the bank. What they want? You consume or you borrow from us at negative interest rate. You borrow. So what they are doing? They are pumping money so that there will be demand. So once there will be demand, the price level will start getting increased. So try to understand that. Don't see when we discuss the concept, don't only think from Indian economy point of view. We need to have an idea. There are some economy where there is persistent or decrease in the price level or deflation. So during that time they follow. See, earlier they were following a zero interest rate policy. Now they realize that zero also is not working. So better go for worse than that. Go for negative interest rate policy. So these concepts very simple. So which economy follow zero rate interest rate policy or negative interest rate policy where the inflation is at a low or at a negative level? Now when a country like India where the inflation is high, what we do to bring down the demand? We increase the interest rate. So by increasing the interest rate, we call it that policy as dear money policy. The money become dear because the interest rate is very high, so the demand will come down and the inflation may moderate. So have this concept in your mind. So relatively 4 concepts are there. Everything in relation to price level, but you need to be very clear what is inflation, what is deflation, what is disinflation, and what is reflation. And that we can learn it with the figure. You just see that it's there, are given in the last page, and write down all the concept is explained in that figure. Page number 7. So in this figure, if you notice one thing, in this figure, here they are, have you got it? Price change rate is given in the y-axis. It is price change. The price change is changing. Okay, now this we have studied in school. This is sine wave. Increase, decrease, then it goes to negative territory, then again start increasing. Now these are the 4 phases. From here we can learn. These are the time period. Inflation is weak. Generally the data is available month wise. So if it is time period and if this is the change in the price level, now what is this phase? It is persistently the price level is increasing. What is that? It's inflation. It is inflation. Now what is this? This is inflation. What is this? It is disinflation. The inflation rate is coming down, but it's in positive territory. So this is disinflation. Now what is this from here to here? Say again the inflation is coming down persistently, but it's in negative territory. What is this? Deflation. It is deflation. Now when the price level have reached its lower level, then what the government will do? It will try to deliberately increase the price level. What is called as reflation. So this action where the price level is started, where the government tried to deliberately increase the price level, this is what? Reflation. So be very be very clear with the concept. UPSC have asked question related with this simple concept, it's very simple. Okay, now when it comes to Indian economy, we have seen more inflation. We are very rarely seen the other phenomena. The majority of the time we have seen what? Inflationary trend. So that's the reason why the sender and the central bank have given more importance to control what? Inflation. Control inflation. We'll see it why, what is the reason for a country like India to have in majority of the, most of the time, inflationary trend. We'll come to it. Now there is a question related with the deflation. That's a very important question. Now if you are able to answer that question and the related concept, things will become very easy. But we'll see it, it means that you are able to understand the concept. Question number 10. Question number 10, which is in 2010, they asked a question, which one of the following statement is an appropriate description of deflation? What is the answer? What is the keyword here? Persistent. Keyword is persistent. Be very careful. Actually, see, UPSC itself is giving that. Who has said this? It is UPSC only. So be very careful when UPSC set a question. What you need to see it in the question. Okay. And what is choice D? What do you mean by choice D? Just give me the explanation for what that concept is. Disinflation. What is? D is disinflation. C is deflation. Now A and B, it's not related with this topic, but we will study. The first A is depreciation, which we will be studying under external sector. If it is related with currency, value of currency, don't worry, under the topic external sector, discuss exchange rate, we will discuss that concept. For time being, you understand that it's again a concept, but it is related with some other thing, which we will discuss. And the B one, again that we will be discussing when we discuss national income or economic growth chapter, we will discuss, and that's a concept what is called as depression. You might have heard that depression, the term called depression. We had in world history, will study Great Depression of 1930s. It is this thing only. We will discuss that. No, but what you need to understand that when UPSC asks you what this a phenomenon or definition is been given, the other choice also you need to find out what that mean for you. Because in future, UPSC may ask a question related with that. Okay. Now, for time being, already if see this 2010 question is related with deflation, but in one of the choice, they have given the definition of disinflation. Be very clear with the concept. Okay. Now we will see it how. What are the factors? Very simple concept, but not only we can use it in inflation, but we can use it in all the places where we define market. Wherever market is there, in economy, in almost every places we will discuss with money market. In money and banking, we discussed money market. When we discuss capital, there is a capital market is there. Then foreign exchange market is there. Then in agriculture, you will study agriculture market is there. Everywhere there is a market. Now here in a market, or when we talk about market where there will be buying and selling happens, the market has to be free. It should be a free market where there will be no restrictions. There will be no restriction in the sense that it's the demand and supply have to determine the price of that item which has been traded in that market. It can be anything. Basically, when we talk about Indian economy, it will be basically in the form of financial instrument or anything. It can be anything. Okay. So there will be some item which will be traded in a market. So normally in a market, who will be there? A buyer and a seller. But if the market is huge or big, then in order to help the buyer and seller, a broker or intermediary will be there. Okay, when you go to a simple market, nobody will be there. It is you who are the buyer and the seller will be there. Now the question, what you need to understand is, you need to understand how the demand and supply. It's a very simple concept, but lot of question can be answered with this simple concept. How the price level get affected, or how the demand and supply influence the price of a particular item. It can be anything. Okay, now in money market it can be interest rate. Okay, it can be in the capital market. If it is going for, we will be discussing so many items like futures or derivatives, or the share market, where the price, again the demand and supply influence what? The price of that item. In the foreign exchange market, the value of the currency will get, the price will move down based on what? It's all based on demand and supply. So the concept which I am going to discuss in relation is very simple concept. Understand it, don't mug up, understand it and see, you can apply to any market. Same concept you can apply to, when we discuss share market, you can apply that. When we discuss foreign exchange market, you can apply this concept there also. So be very clear with that. Okay. Now in a market, normally it's like this. When demand and supply, when the demand and supply is same, when the demand and supply is the same, what will happen to the price level? Price level will be constant. It will normally, I am talking about a normal market. Demand is same, supply is same. Think about a mango seller who have a required number of 10 kg or 20 kg of mangoes, and he faced, imagine he is having 20 kg of mangoes and he has 20 buyers every day, and they buy 1 kg daily. So what happens? 20 buyer, 20 kg of mango, so he is happy and he is selling at a constant rate of 50 rupees or 100 rupees, whatever it is. Now suddenly this trend can change in relation to the supply may increase. Supply may increase during mango season, the supply may increase. So what happened? Instead of 20 kg, he may have 200 kg. So in that case, what does it mean? Supply increase, and in relation to demand, if only the 20 people who are buying it, if they are coming, then something happens in relation to the price. But normally when the price is constant, when the demand and the supply, if the demand and supply is same, the price will be constant. What it is, it will be there. But if something happens in any of these factors, then the price level get affected. We will see one by one. 4 cases are there. One, take the case of, now see, like, just especially new student who are not clear with this concept, you can write down in your notebook. Now you tell me, now from this situation, we call this situation equilibrium. When the demand and supply is same, it's an equilibrium. Now when this equilibrium is broken, in the sense that when suddenly demand have increased, the demand of that item have increased and the supply is same. Think about the mango. Supply is same, 20 kg only, but the demand have increased. What does it mean? Instead of 20 people coming and buying, 25 people have come. What the mango seller will do? He knows that, okay, even if I increase the price, he can sell all the product. Okay, so what will happen? There will be increase in the price. So this is one criteria. Now here, if the price increase have happened because of increase in demand, we'll see it. See, there is a different way to handle it. Now you need to understand the reason for the increase in price level. In this case, it is due to increase in demand. Now see here, there is a decrease in demand. Supply is same. Supply is same. Demand decreased. It means that he is having 20 kg mango. Instead of 20 people, only 15 people are coming to buy the mango. So at the end of the day, he will be having 5 kg mango extra. Tomorrow also he is having 20 kg. So what you have to do? You have to ensure that within the same customer, reduce the price and sell it off. So in this situation, when the supply is again same, but the demand has come down, then what will happen to the price? Price will come down. So this simple concept, be very clear. It's supply in both the cases is same. In supply is same in both the cases, but based on demand. In one case, demand increased, price increased. Demand decreased, when supply is same, price have come down. So be very clear. So here we need to handle in a different way. It's a different situation. We'll discuss. Then third is in relation to make the demand part same. In cases where demand is same, we'll see in relation to supply. Demand is same, supply have increased. Demand is same. So 20 people are coming, but instead of 20 kg, this fellow is now having 30 kg. Again, what will he do? He will decrease the price. The price will come down. There will be decrease in the price. Now here, demand is same. Demand is same. Supply have come down. Demand is same. Supply have come down. Demand same. Supply have come down. What does it mean? 20 people are coming, but instead of 20 kg, he is having only 10 kg. Then what he will do? He will increase the price level. Now this is the common factor seen in India. The last case is what happens in India, generally in India. What? In India, this is an increase in the price level. In India, I had seen that, I would say we had already discussed, in India the most widely seen phenomena is inflation, not deflation or disinflation. Many of the, means after independence till now, if you see many of the years, majority of the years it is, we are having an inflationary trend. And the reason for the inflationary trend is not due to increase in demand, but due to supply constraint. This word is very important. Supply shock or supply constraint. What do you mean by supply constraint? The supply has come down. So when you discuss agriculture, especially in relation to agricultural commodity, this term will come across. There is some problem in the supply chain of agricultural commodity, or similarly, so in India, it's because of supply shock or supply constraint, we are having what? Inflation. Demand is, it's not mainly because of demand, it's mainly because of supply constraint. Now, if the inflation is due to supply constraint or supply shock, what RBI can do? RBI policy will not be effective. Be very clear. Just understand. RBI policy of RBI is actually what is trying. RBI, what is it doing through controlling the credit? RBI is controlling the demand. RBI can only control demand by controlling the money supply. So in this case, see these are the two cases in which in India inflation can happen. One due to increase in demand, one due to supply constraint. So in this case, the best person to handle this situation is central bank. Now in the normal case, it is whom? It is the central government who have to see that the supply chain is proper or supply constraint is removed at the earliest. So normally, to control inflation, both have to work together, especially in relation to central government. It is basically the finance ministry through its fiscal policy, and the RBI through its monetary policy have to go inconsistent so that they can effectively control the price level. But in India, the weakness of RBI is in relation to inflation control is that RBI don't look into the factor behind or the cause for inflation. Whenever there is increase in price level, what the RBI will follow? They will suddenly increase the interest rate through the policy rate. So this is one of the criticism normally comes whenever there is high inflation. RBI increase the, so what happened? It is a double shock for the people. One is that inflationary shock. Second is due to increase in interest rate, it's affecting the business also. And this has happened during 2012-13 time when RBI have increased the interest rate like anything, but it took so much of time to bring down the inflation because it was mainly due to supply constraints. Okay, just have an idea. So for you this concept is very important. What is this? Demand supply. How demand supply? It's not only in relation to, see here when I talked about the price, it is basically it can be goods or the services price where the inflation is calculated. Similarly, same concept you can apply in relation to, think about the share market. When we will discuss, just have an idea. To a particular share has been traded. How the share of particular company increase? When there is increase in demand. When there is increase in demand for a particular share. So when it goes to the foreign exchange market, when you go to the foreign exchange market, how Indian rupee value increases? When there is increase in demand for Indian rupee. So what is the reason for the increase in demand? We'll discuss there. But just have an idea how the price of a particular item get affected due to demand and supply. So be very clear how this phenomena works and how the price level moves and who have to, because see, why I discussed, this is sufficient for you to solve prelims question. But for mains, when they said that how you can control inflation, for that you have to tell the reason. If it is due to supply constraint, it is mainly due through fiscal policy. Now what are the fiscal policy instruments to control inflation? We'll discuss. Second, but if it is due to increase in demand, it is through monetary policy. Now for mains point of view, you need to be very clear what are the instruments used by the government to ease the price level. Because if it is due to, now if you notice one thing regarding wheat present news. Now wheat is in, there is a government have started importing wheat. Reason is, the government is saying that there is a chance of the wheat output or the wheat stock have come down. So in order to increase the supply, what the government have done? It started importing wheat, and earlier they were having a small custom duty for wheat, import duty were there, they have removed it. What is the purpose of doing that? Because in order to avoid inflation due to wheat, and wheat is a major food grain. Okay, so similarly the government will perform so many actions. If it is due to, similarly see, if you notice one thing, the ENAM, Electronic National Agriculture Market, the government is going after it. What the government, see, even though you look in one factor, actually this will help you once ENAM will come into existence. It will bring down the prices of vegetables, fruits and all the food grains. How? What the ENAM will do is doing? It is removing the barrier. Now we have a barrier in relation to movement of foods and grains. From one state to other state, we have different issues are there. Now once that's, see, basically try to understand, especially in relation to fruits and vegetables. They are perishable items, highly perishable items. Now if it is not, if it didn't reach the market on time, if Kerala want certain fruits and vegetables, now the item will be coming from Maharashtra. Now what happens in every state, there is a block is there. If it is free, it will reach in a day, otherwise it will reach in after 2 or 3 days. What will happen to the quality of the product? And what will happen? The farmer will not get benefited, the consumer also will not get, the farmer will get less income, the consumer have to pay high price. So it's not good for the entire economy. So many things is happening. So all these things, so if the price level is in relation to supply constraint, you need to identify it, we have to rectify it, and that only the government can do it. Link it and study. Okay, now come back. So be very clear with this concept of demand, supply and how the price is getting affected.